Hey, it's Lindsay from Buy Sell Love Durham. This video may not save you tens of thousands of dollars, might give you a little bit of peace of mind. Now, if you like the content of these videos, they come from being a real estate broker, feet on the ground, selling real estate for the last 39 years. Click the subscribe button. They come out every week so you don't miss any of them. So what happens at this time of year, the question comes up, what happens if I buy a haunted home? Now, interesting enough, people would think that that's not a question that would come up. It comes up on a pretty regular basis. So I'll give you a bit of a personal experience. I moved into a house in 2007, and I lived there till 2016. My son moved in with me in 2016. As soon as he moved in, weird things started to happen. It was all based around glass. And the first thing that happened was we were standing in the dining room, and the garden door started to shatter on its own. Second thing is we came home, and the glass top table in the living room had exploded, covering the entire room with glass. Third thing happened was we had a crystal clock that was sitting in our bathroom, and the actual clock ejected the mechanism out of the crystal. So they were all glass-based issues. So we had a friend, somebody we knew through our community, who dealt with paranormal activities. She came into the house and said we had an entity that came with my son when he arrived at the house, and she asked it to leave. We never had another issue. So believe it or not, whether you do, in this case here, we had no issues afterwards. So what we're talking really about disclosure. Do you have to disclose paranormal activities? And the answer in Ontario is no, you do not. So there are certain things about disclosure, and they kind of rotate around what we call the code of ethics. So we all, as realtors in Ontario, have a code of ethics that we have to kind of abide by. The three elements of the code of ethics that applies here is honesty, fairness, and integrity. Do you want the buyer to find something out after they move into the house that you didn't share? So really what we're talking about is stigmatized properties. So they can be, stigmatized property can be where murder took place, a suicide took place, or a flood, fire, things like that are stigmatized. Now, what you have to disclose are latent defects. A flood is a latent defect because it's a flood. The property was flooded. You have to disclose that. Same with a fire. Even if the fire has completely rebuilt the house, you still have to disclose that. Now, going back to my first broker, his response always was, if I asked, should I disclose? He would always say, if you have to ask the question, you need to disclose. And his response was always the same. You don't want a buyer moving into a house having a neighbor tell them something that you should have told them. So now when it comes back down to paranormal activities, some care and some could care less because they just don't believe. But if you've got paranormal activity in your house or weird stuff happening, I got a gal. I can be reached at any of the social media platforms. Shoot me a message in the YouTube comments section, or just reach out to me on by the old phone or email. Have a great week.